You're welcome to turn on your cameras if you are quiet. If not, never mind. We give some minutes to gathering, collecting, recollecting and reconnecting. A sense of stillness. In this moment, we release the past, no grasping to the future. We're reconnecting, recollecting, settling, and knowing it's gathered, still, not fixed. Released the past, and grasping the future. A gift in the present of life received. Patience now, an experience here, time and place, life received and responded. Life is receiving and that response. Alivening, enlivening, life given to life. this knowing in freedom. Unburdened by past, no grasping of future, no practice, knowing this knowing, the energy gathered and still, recollected, reconnected, in this moment, this place, this here, this now. This experience. Gift received, and in the receiving, a giving. A breath, a rhythm, an allowing, still, not fixed, alive and awake, unburdened, and not adding to burdens. Free, knowing, free experience, accepting the limitation of this now, this here. This experience of life, unencumbered, unencumbering, this moment, this experience, the whole of it, the all of it, full aliveness of it. This is interesting. This experience of time and space and different times and spaces. This idea of time and space, our own experience as we live in our own time and space. It's clear, this Zoom experience of time and space, and everybody in their own space, their own time. This birth of separation, the sense of that is connecting consciousness of space and time. I'm here, you're there. These ideas, this experience of joining and separation that is experienced now. Then so much of it is just like this. And we burden the present with the past, our expectations, hopes, and fears based on the past as we look, as we seek outwards to find a future based on our past. And our past is just, you know, what we experience as we look out, explore out. And inside, what's happening and what what is the unknown, and that's the future. The future is what is unknown. It's not the future is unknown, the future is the unknown. Because what it is unfathomable, just not known, and recognizing that it cannot be known. Its nature is that it's not known. Where our freedom lies is how we process, or it's a fancy word, it's how the basic response is to this way or towards this basic experience of senses of this way or that way. This basic Vedana. That's why it's one of the places in the past that is been talked about as a place where you can cut the paticca samuppada. You cut the paticca samuppada at Vedana and just leave it at Vedana. But what that is about is just knowing that whether there's this way or this way, and of course, one way or the other always implies, the difference between something and nothing is always triple, because there's always the relationship between something and nothing. So this way or that way. And then because it's to do with whether there's a movement towards or away from a particular experience is to do with how it's perceived and the memory that we bring to it, sanya that we bring to it. And the sanya we bring to it is based on what we want to do with it. So it's the intention of it. And then the contact, what makes it present for us, the fact that there is vijnana and there's an internal sense based on an external sense object. Yeah, this is asa. But then what we can do, where there's freedom, is how we relate and what sort of attention we give this moment. Because we can't help but give meaning and attention to things because that's how we receive them. And we give meaning. And when we receive these sense impressions, we give it meaning. And the freedom is in the quality of that meaning, that we give it the manasikara, the quality of the attention. Is the attention we give wise or foolish? Does it actually increase the possibility of more suffering or decrease the possibility of more stress? These are it's how we pick up something. Manasikara is really how you pick it up, or how you receive it, or what sort of meaning you give it. And, and what would you create out of that? Very basic, a very, 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 very basic level. It's it's when you wake up in a strange room and there's a sense of where am I? What am I doing? And then the whole sort of story that comes with that. Or you the classic story I give is of my mother in a hotel in China, looking out of the window and seeing a garden and a little old man in the garden looking at the flowers. And then, oh, that's my husband. And that sense of what that energy going out to give that experience meaning based on habit. And we do that all the time with every experience that we have. And how we do that is the way that we can relate to this experience. So can we allow this to be less stress for ourselves and others? And an exercise for this, or the way to that's suggested, is of course the Eightfold Path, which gives practical steps for it in the way that what one assumes and how one intends, how one communicates, how one acts, how one supports this life and our cultivation of a sense of not doing things that are unwholesome, but not feeding more of that and making the effort to do that which is, and cultivate and grow that which is helpful, and sustaining that with knowing what's happening right here and now. And the mindfulness of here and now is turning the attention inwards and really facing the future, which is unknown, facing that unknown, however scary it is, because that's what the future is. It's unknown. What happens next is not known. We try to make it known, and we do all sorts of things to try to be sure about what's happening. And we by picking this and not and rejecting that at every level, the very basic level, from all the way through, and we get caught. We don't even know that it's happening, and so we can continue with this not knowing. But knowing that we don't know, turning the attention inwards to that sense of just knowing, where there's not a moving forward, there's not a going backwards, and there's not a standing still. Where's that? So in the moment, in the sense of what happens next, I really don't know. I know that allowing that sense of, oh, and that's what's happening. If that movement, that's going to cause more stress, and if that movement, going to cause less stress. This is the best I can do, this moment, because we do feel this sense in here and now, incredible sense of separation, because that's our birth. That's what birth is, this strange sense of separation. And it's stressful, because that's the nature of this strange sense of separation. It's not supposed to be otherwise. But what it can do, what humans can do very, very well, is make life happier for themselves and for others. When they work according to what they can do best, they really, really wish themselves well and wish happiness for all beings. And they're just incredibly confused about what that is, because they get caught in the habit and the past. This just recently, I looked up something that said that at the time of the Lord Buddha, 2,568 years ago or so, give or take, that's what they say. That's our idea of time. That's a measurement of something, and that's an idea of something. And I just find it a helpful, I have no idea really. I really don't know. But there were probably between 100 and 200 million people, humans on the planet. Between 100 and 200 million. Is that a lot or is that a little? In the 1950s, when I was, you know, this one was first separated and could be counted. There were probably under 3 billion. And now they say they're over 8. It's a strange, weird thing that's happened, hasn't it? But actually, you know, how this 8 billion live, there's still a lot of happiness. There's actually a lot of happiness and a lot of, you know, a lot less stress. There are washing machines. These are amazing things. No, it's this sort of strangeness to life. Yes, there's all sorts of incredible problems and hassles and all things, but this capacity of human beings to generate happiness is actually pretty strong. And certainly there's a strong wish of well-wishing. And for the most part, the damage and the harm that's done is strangely a blundering and an ignorance. Yes, people do try to do deliberate harm to people, and there's all sorts of wars and troubles happening and theft and all this sort of stuff. And the capacity to do harm is also, you know, as strong, as wide as our capacity to not do harm. But I really feel that life wishes itself well, because at a cellular level, with the basic movement towards or away, the movement is towards something that makes life easier. That's the basic movement. It's a confusion because often the time we don't know the consequences of what makes life easier. We don't actually think things, we don't actually know what we don't know and know what we don't know. And we try to fix the future. And the future is the unknown. And that is scary, but also exciting. Now, it's that old thing of if you receive a present, you're excited because you think, well, this is a present. Something lovely is going to be in here. But because it's the unknown. Whereas, you know, if you don't know what's underneath your bed at night, then you can get scared. It's, it's the unknown. The same thing. But to know that you don't know, to know that the unknown is like this, there's no need to go forward, no need to go backwards, and no need to stand still. Just give, and that sense of it's like this. There is enough, there is patience enough, there is a capacity enough. There's strangeness enough that we don't know what's going to happen next. And we wish ourselves well. And you know, this sense of wanting happiness is also well-wishing, is because right now this sense of separation is always hard to bear. It's the nature of it. When understanding that, the sense of uncertainty, we don't need to take it personally. That's that's the truly liberating realization. And we don't need to fix our sense of time and space into this limitation. We don't need to own it. It belongs to nature. It's just doing what it's supposed to do. And getting a lot wrong, getting a lot right, but trusting it's like this, and trusting the practice of the Eightfold Path. There is a way of liberation. There are intentions of renunciation, non-indulgence, non-hatred. There are ways of communicating that are not deliberately trying to mislead or to gossip or to backbite or tear people down. There are actions that are not harmful. And stopping and allowing the energy of this sense of, of gathering of energy, of collecting the energy, because of the sense of this moment is where there's freedom. There's a sense of confidence of this. Sustaining the mindfulness of the body, the breath, of this whole flip-flop of the 108 feelings of Vedana. Knowing the tone of how this experience is being received and what is being given to it. This is knowing the chitta. The chitta, knowing the chitta is knowing the tone of this. Is this cramped? Is it open? Is it caught up? How are the chitta sankharas just through habit? Or is it open? Is it liberated? Knowing the chitta sankhara, chit and chit. And really reflecting on the Dhammas through, the 5 hindrances are like this. This is what's getting in the way. And this, with mindfulness, knowing that this is what's getting in the way. Investigating the Dhamma vichayo with effort. The effort not to just feed them, the effort to yeah, virya. And a sense of excitement in this exploration. The sense of aspiration that this is possible. A sense of continuity that this is possible, a sense of fullness that this is possible. Wholesomeness is possible to cultivate. Goodness is possible to provide, to till the ground, to give opportunity, to a sense of offering. So there's not a demanding, so that there's not coming out of a sense of aversion. Things should be different. Well, things should be different. I shouldn't have these shoulds. But of course they show the shoulds are there. And that's how it is. But to allow that space around it, to untangle it, to not be caught in it, to not take the whole thing personally, because this is obviously just this. And time and space is this very strange thing that every moment that there is this sense of separation is a creation of time and space. And it's very obviously very different for every single experience of time and space. But the knowing, and the knowing, the presence, what's not caught in time and space. That's where there's the basic flip flop of Vedana, but where's the neutral? The neutral, when it's really known, is actually quite okay, that it's peaceful, unirritated. Because most of life is irritating. It's never quite enough. It's always it's a bit too much. This basic, well, too much in my bowl, too little in my bowl. Too much experience, too little experience. This feeding that sense of inadequacy, which is not real. Because life is life is life is life is life. Life can endure the whole thing. Experience can experience the whole thing. And it's fine in one level. Whatever is happening, the pain, the weepiness, the sense of, I can't stand this anymore, the sense of this is all completely wrong. This really should not be happening. And that I'm very angry that this is happening. And it's not wrong that there's this anger and there's this sense of it's completely wrong what is happening. It's not wrong. Even those sort of feelings are not wrong. That's just how it is. And then manasikara is like, what sort of attention can be transformative of this? What's the least suffering that I can generate for myself and others right now? Where is there no going forward, no going backward, no standing still? Where is the unknown? Where knowing that the future is the unknown? We don't know what's going to happen there. There isn't a way of knowing the future. We can know the past. We can look and see this is the result. What we experience is the result of causes and conditions. And humans can generate causes. They are the doers. And they can generate causes that lead to the end of suffering, the end of all causes. And they have the capacity for wisdom. And they really, really wish happiness for themselves and others. I'm very confused about how to get there. So if this is of any help, great. If it's not, then just leave it behind. Don't carry it as a burden. And there's no need to. It's just this. It's just a gathering in this particular time and space, this particular here and now. Thank you. Try and deal with the questions. So if you want to type the questions, you're welcome into the chat. I have some. Somebody's trying to quote Ajahn Chah. The most direct path to enlightenment is to never let the mind fall into liking or disliking. What does that mean? Neither like the liking or dislike the disliking, or like the disliking and don't dislike the liking. The way of answering those questions is how do you use an idea? Use an idea to let go. Let go of wanting to know. I am neither above, below, near or far from you, but with you, with mindfulness, you will always be with me. I've got no idea what that means. I don't know who said that, where it comes from. It's an idea. When we see somebody act greedily, we know that they are greedy. When we see somebody speaks harshly and aggressively, we know that they do that. The burdensome action, the burdensome act of judging brings annoyance and weariness. Yes, it's the knowing. It's the knowing. It's just a judgment. Saying that we shouldn't have the judgment makes it judge it, not another judgment. The judgment's a judgment. How to tell the difference between thinking, understanding, and knowing? Think I understand, or the body is not the mind is not the body. But this is not the thing to understand is dukkha. And understanding dukkha is a relief. It's a complete relief to know that this sense of separation is always going to be always stressful. Sense of birth of the sense of me is always stressful. The sense of relationship in time and space is always stressful. That's jara, that's old age, getting old. And the body certainly going through its stuff, that's always stressful. The whole business of the ending of this body, whole business of deadness, of insensitivity is stressful. Because it's really not knowing. Because you can't know when you're dead. You can't even know that you don't know. Being associated with the dislight is stressful. Being separated from the light is stressful. Not getting what you want is stressful. Always that sense of me and mine. You know, in this vast empty universe, the sense of me is the bit that hurts. Ajahn Vajiro phrase or elaboration from it. In this vast empty universe, my body is the bit that hurts. Because that's a truth, but it's the my that makes it stressful. It's taking of this whole thing personally. Understanding is peaceful. Understanding is a relief. Understanding is humbling. Understanding is not making further problems about things. Knowing, thinking about it, make a whole load of more thoughts, whole complication of it. Understanding is a putting down. Understanding is humbling. Understanding is being able to smile at it. Understanding is not making a problem about it. Understanding is being willing to practice, wanting to practice, having an urgency to practice. Understanding is turning the attention inwards, knowing the unknown. So there's some ideas for that. Any other questions? Yes. Oh, nice to see you. Who? Ramiro. It's a direct message, that one. No general messages yet. Any particular questions? Anything that I've not covered? Anything that has been particularly upsetting in what I've said or not clear? Don't take your life personally. I don't know how to do this. Or don't know how not to do this. Can I please explain more? Don't take your life personally. I. Look at that sense of I. What doesn't? What can you really, if your life was really personal, then you should be able to really control it. You should be able to say, I don't wish to suffer. But it's not. It's always stressful. It's always changing. Why take it personally is more the question. Don't you see how much it hurts? If you keep taking it personally, it keeps hurting. It's a dung beetle wanting to crawl back to his ball of dung. It's the person eating the bowl of chilies wanting to find a sweet one. Just stop it. It's ridiculous. What can you really control? How to practice acceptance is, why do you need to practice acceptance? Now that's not necessarily what you practice is the Eightfold Path. Thinking I should practice acceptance is making life very, very, very complicated, because the nature of existence is that it's irritating. And I should accept all this irritation? No, the body's not going to accept the irritation. It's just it has to endure it. Thinking that I should practice acceptance is just going to make life difficult. There's going to be likes and dislikes. You don't have to accept everything. You can bully yourself, let other people bully you by thinking you have to accept everything. Oh, don't accept the unwholesome. Discern what's useful. Don't accept. Well, there's 10 lists of things that are wholesome. You can look them up. And that's very clear, actually. I can't, all sorts of people all sorts of ways of finding out the list of 10 wholesome actions. They're quite simple. And then just do those. There's obviously there are there's a list of 10 unwholesome actions, and stop doing those first. Stop doing the unwholesome, and then there'll be space for the wholesome. That's the basic teaching of the Lord Buddha. particularly stop doing things that are evil, that are actually damaging. Well, and don't things that are actually damaging. And the original, it is then do that which is wholesome. How to do what is wholesome, or not what is desired. Desire what is wholesome. Have that as your, have that aspiration. It is possible to have that chanda. That's actually, that's what comes from practicing the first step of the path. Samadhi is a practice. It's not something you have, and you don't have to it's not understanding the path. The relationship to the path is to practice it in the same sort of way as a baby practices getting up and walking without worrying about how often they're going to fall over. They just keep practicing without even being self-conscious about falling over. They just keep practicing. When you watch your babies learn to walk, it just keeps doing it. And similarly, practice the Eightfold Path. Just keep doing it. You have enough information, and then the basic one is, where is this coming from? How is this moment being received? What am I giving to this moment? What meaning am I giving to this moment? Is this moment an opportunity to suffer less now and in the future? And the practice of the first step of the path is feeling that there is a result of wholesome practices. There are causes and conditions. And it's a practice to keep remembering that, keep recollecting that, keep coming back to that. It's a practice. Remembering, recollecting, recollecting, reconnecting. That's the practice. That's what Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. That's a basic reconnecting with the first step of the path. Saying that there is the Lord, there is something that can be worthy of honor and something to hold up that is wise and awake. Keep remembering that. When you feel that you wish to do something that's unwholesome, say to yourself, Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Come and bow to the Buddha. When you feel you want to get caught in some sort of unwholesome activity, establish the intention not to indulge, to renounce, and not to dwell in hatred. This is something you can practice. Because you wish to, because you aspire to, because you're human and you wish the highest happiness for yourself. You don't want to get stuck on some cheap, fake happiness. You want the best happiness, a happiness independent of condition, because you're worth it. Sorry. Because you deserve it, because you're human, because it's a birthright. Actually, nobody can take it away from you. Your right to enlightenment is your right to freedom is a birthright. And aspire to accept your inheritance, which the Lord Buddha left for all beings. unlimited, unbound, no secrets, all there, enough, a handful of leaves offered way back when there were between 1 and 200 million humans on the planet with the same problems as they have today, 8 billion. What am I supposed to be doing here? All best wishes. Thank you.